morning, students. How are you? I think you are keeping well. Uh, 2 days before, I took a class on transformation, that is specially on affirmative, negative, and interrogative. Today, I will take a class on degrees, and if I get time, I will discuss on assertive and exclamatory. Students, I think you will take preparation and taking your khata and pen. That will be very good for you, and important things you can write down. Okay. At first, degrees. How many degrees are there? Degrees, there are three kinds of degrees. One is positive, another is comparative, and last one is superlative. In transformation, we transfer from positive to interrogative, positive to comparative, and comparative to superlative. And other way, we can transform superlative to positive and also comparative. You see, at first, I have written some general rules of degrees in transformation. If I find in positive degree or in any sentence very few, we have to convert or we have to transform into comparative with subject, then subject verb, then most other, and superlative subject verb plus one of the. Okay, you see, next, if I find any sentence start with no other, we can start with subject, verb, then any other extension. In superlative, subject, verb, and the superlative form. What we have found here? We have found that if we transform the sentence into positive, we have to start with very few and no other. If in superlative, if we find one of them, we can start positive with very few. And if we find subject, verb, and without, in superlative form, without one of them, we can start with no other. So, we can or we will apply these rules in the sentence. You see, in the first sentence, a freedom fighter is the greatest son of the soil. This is no doubt, this is superlative because greatest. And in positive, I have to start with, there is no one of them. So I have to start positive with no other. Okay? No other. And what is the things? Son. No other son is, as greatest is superlative, its positive is great, as a freedom fighter in the soil. Now, comparative. Comparative, from where we can start? We can start with the subject. The subject is freedom fighter. A freedom fighter. Then verb is great. Greatest is superlative. Its comparative is greater. Greater than any other. Any other any other sun in the soil. Understand? Now we will go is one of the. We will discuss this sentence later on. We see in the question number 3. This sentence, Facebook is one of the best of social networks. One of them. So we have to start with very few, positive. Very few. What are the things? Networks. Very few networks are. Why are? Most of the students make mistake here because in this sentence verb is, but here is verb are. Why? Very few is a plural number. For this we have to use are instead of is. You remember it. Are as best, its positive is good, as Facebook of all networks. Very few networks. Why we start with the very few? Because here is one of them. For this I start with very few. Another thing you have to think, if one of them we start with very few in the positive sense. Now comparative. Comparative both the way we start with the subject. Subject is Facebook here. Facebook is, and best is a superlative form. What is the comparative form of best? Is better. Facebook is better than most other, because this sentence is one of the, than most other networks of all. You understand this? And you have to remember this. Okay, now question number 2. This sentence, their contribution is greater than any other thing. This is comparative. This is comparative. And if we find as in any sentence, we have to start comparative from the comparative than any other thing. How we start in positive? How can we start? Then any other? Any other. We have to start with no other. No other. What is the thing? No other thing is as great as their contribution. Is great as their contribution. You see what we have found here? This is very important things, and we have to think in critical. Otherwise, you can make a mistake. No other, any other. This is singular number. So, no other, we use singular verb. With the no other, we use singular verb. But very few, most other. This is plural number. These are plural number. Very few and most other. For this, we use are. Understand? Okay. So these are the simple and general rules of degrees. We can transform these sentences in this way. Understand? These sentences, I think the students of class 8, 9 and 10, you can see and practice from the test papers. The students of class 8, you can practice from the board question. from the test paper. That will be good for your pre-test exam. And class 9, you have to sit for the first half-yearly exam. You can take preparation from the test paper also. Especially class 10, you have to practice from the test paper, especially board question. You have to practice again and again. Grammar is a practicing thing. If you do not practice more, you cannot do very good result. Okay, thank you for today. Next, I will take a class on assertive to exclamatory and exclamatory to assertive. Thank you very much. Okay, my students, now I will discuss transformation assertive to exclamatory and exclamatory to assertive. At first, you can write down some important rules. If we find a or an any assertive sentence, we start exclamatory with what. Okay, so we can practice with a sentence. Bangladesh is a very beautiful country. Bangladesh is a very beautiful country. This is assertive. Now exclamatory. There is a. What do you know? We know if any statement or if any assertive sentence we find a or an, we can start exclamatory with what. Okay? What, a, and you have to remember, when we transform assertive to exclamatory, we must omit like very and great. So, what a beautiful country Bangladesh is. Bangladesh is. You see, verb is here. Exclamatory sentence always verb to the last part. Next, if we find any sentence without a or an, you see, coronavirus is dangerous for us. Coronavirus is dangerous for us. What can I do here? This assertive sentence, no a or an. So we have to start from how. How dangerous. How dangerous. You see, we have omitted here very. How dangerous coronavirus is. What we have found here? There are two rules. If we find a or an in a sentence, or if there is a or an in a statement or in a assertive sentence, we have to do exclamatory with what? Then adjective. And if we do not find a or an in a sentence, we have to start with how. Understand? that is very important one note for you. You must use exclamatory sign for the exclamatory sentence. Otherwise, you will not get any mark, because in exclamatory sentence, exclamation mark is very important. Now, another thing, bravo. Bangladesh cricket team has defeated India. Bravo, Bangladesh cricket team defeated India. This is exclamatory. How can I do the assertive form of this sentence? You have to remember, if the sentence is a matter of joy and start with bravo, hurrah, this kind of things, so we have to start with it is a matter of joy. It is a matter of joy that Bangladesh cricket team has defeated India. What we have found here? If the sentence is matter of joy, we have to start with, instead of bravo, hurrah, we have to start with it is a matter of joy. That the next clause. If the sentence is matter of sorrow, we have to start assertive with a matter of sorrow. See, we can practice with an example. Alas, we are undone. Alas, we are undone. This is matter of sorrow. Assertive. It is a matter of sorrow that we are undone. Again, what we have found here? If the sentence is matter of joy, we have to start with it is a matter of joy instead of bravo, instead of hurrah, some interjection word. And if the sentence is a matter of sorrow, alas, we have to start with is a matter of sorrow. That the next clause. Understand? Another thing we can discuss, if the sentence with if the sentence start with if, okay, you see, if we were if I a king, if I were a king, this is unreal past sentence, is exclamatory sentence. This is exclamatory. How can you transform this sentence into assertive? If the exclamatory sentence start with if, we can transform this sentence into assertive. Start with I wish. I wish I were a king. Then you understand that you have to be very careful about putting full stop. If we put exclamation sign again, that sentence will be incorrect. In this way, if we find an assertive sentence with I wish, and we can transform this sentence into exclamatory with if or would that. Okay, another very simple thing I can show you. This is not, this is very simple. This class 8 students can easily pick this. What a pity. What a pity. And you have to think that how can we, this is exclamatory sign, so this is exclamatory sentence. How can I do this sentence? How can you transform this sentence into assertive? In that case, if there is no subject, you can start with it. You can start with it. It is very pity. We can use very instead of what. Understand? And we can practice another sentence like this. The cuckoo sings very sweetly. What we have learned? We have learned and we know some rules about assertive exclamatory changing, so we can use it. The cuckoo sings very sweetly. In this sentence, no indefinite article like a or an. So we can start exclamatory with how. Can you remember? If the sentence, if we find any a or an in a sentence, we have to start with what in the case of exclamatory. But if you do not find a or an, we can start with how. How. We will omit very. How sweetly the cuckoo sings. Full stop. Okay, my students, I think we can discuss and we can practice some sentences on exclamatory, assertive. So we have to practice it. We have to practice it from the test papers. Otherwise, we will forget it. At last, I can tell you something, my students, my dear students. When you get time, you help your father, help your mother, and you, if you get more free time, you can play with your brothers and sisters. That will be very good for you. And another very important thing I can tell you, you can practice physical exercise. That will be very, very good for you and for your energy too. Thank you, students.